podcast broadcast that we're going to be doing today. It's going to be a lot of fun. All things Tucson Comic-Con that's going to be coming up here at the end of the month, 15th anniversary. And good morning, everyone who's checking it out, either live, all our OG streamers, and anyone watching on the replay. Please let me introduce to you a very special guest this hour, and I'll reintroduce to them while we're on the air. First, we have Carrie. Carrie, how do you say your last name?
Eutizi.
Eutizi. Yeah, there was no way I was going to take an attempt at that. She is the PR coordinator for the Tucson Comic-Con, also organizing a ton of other things with the event, including the family activities. And joining me for the first time on the podcast broadcast, Jamie Joe from Jamie Joe Show. Is that how you go by? You go by Jamie Hogan, or you go by Jamie Joe?
Just Jamie, but Jamie Joe is Joe's my middle name, so that's why I was like, oh, I'm gonna do the Jamie Joe Show because it sounds like so catchy and But I go by Jamie.
Yeah, it's funny because Jamie reached out to me like last week, letting me know that she's going to be hosting a panel, a Walking Dead panel, because she does a Walking Dead reaction content. She's done Q&As with like staff or cast members and Chris Hardwick, and she reached out. It was so sweet. She's like, I don't know, a little bit about me. I don't know if you know about me, but I'm going to be hosting this. And I'm like, Jamie, I've been following you on Instagram for like 5 years now. Like, know exactly who you are, know exactly what you do, and it's fantastic. So, a long time coming, but please, welcome to the podcast broadcast. And when, she said she's hosting a Walking Dead panel, I told her, I was like, yeah, that's perfect. Like, there is anyone in this town that would be better suited than hosting a Walking Dead panel than you. So, I hope you got a lot of tricks up your sleeve. Excited about it.
Yeah, Jamie's awesome. She's also one of our influencers at Tucson Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you got a whole bunch of different influencers, and that's what we want to get to in this podcast broadcast. Talk about everything. Obviously, the big guests that you guys announced that are going to be this year, the vendors, the influencers, and just all the different community that's coming together for this year's Comic-Con, which is taking over the TCC for the entire weekend. And, from August 30th to the 1st, right?
Yes.
Is it the entire TCC, or am I overselling it?
It is the exhibit hall and also the upstairs and all the panel rooms. It's going to be full of stuff.
That's pretty much the entire TCC minus the arena.
Yeah.
Which you can't really set up that much in the arena unless you do some like really cool like Quidditch or something.
You never know.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Wouldn't it be awesome though to do some kind of like exhibitions like?
It's all of our dreams. Yes.
Yes. Okay. That's good. How long have you been with Comic-Con?
I've been with Comic-Con for, I think, going on 4 years. But I started not working for them, just working at the con, and then I worked my way in.
Nice. You saw opportunities, and look at you already. We have notes. Did you bring notes too,
No,
Jamie?
I did not. I thought about it, but I was like, no, it's up here.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, okay, I want some of this information on the air as well, just so it's not just on our streaming, but there's going to be RPG live gaming. So what's going on with that?
Okay, so there's going to be lots of role-play gaming, Dungeons and Dragons. There's going to be live arcades. There will be live demonstrations of gaming as well, so people will be playing video games.
Nice.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, is Tucson Games and Gadgets involved in that for their like D&D or any of that?
Yes, Tucson Games and Gadgets is going to be there. We have so many different vendors and so many different groups that will be there. We do love Tucson Games and Gadgets, though.
Yeah, they deliver. They've been friends of the show for a while, too, and that's where I dipped my toes into the RPG world, which is super fun.
What RPGs were you playing?
You know what? I'd have to ask my buddy Todd, who's on the stream. He's a dungeon master.
Okay.
Right? So, we were actually playing at Tucson Games and Gadgets, but you can't do like Dungeons and Dragons in like 2 hours, right? So there was a different version of
D&D. Like a fast one, like a one-shot kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, we are still looking for game masters at Tucson Comic-Con, so if people are looking to be a game master, they are welcome to apply on our website.
Oh, you hear that, Todd? I'm going to send him an invite right now.
Yeah, please do.
And Todd, tell me in the comments what role-playing games that we played, because we did it a couple times. First was just, for us, and then we did a live stream, which is fun. And what I like about it is because you can make your own rules, sometimes a little bit. And that's like,
it's all about the imagination.
Yeah. I imagine I was winning the game for a while. Oh, I guess I did play D&D.
Oh, good for you. Maybe you did like a one shot where, it was like
Yeah,
start
like
to finish.
a smaller campaign.
Yeah.
And that's the thing when it comes to these like dungeon masters, which sounds way kinkier than it actually is,
Is it?
right? That you could come up with all these different campaigns and kind of design a game that will last as long as you want it to. And there's some people that are playing games that have been lasting months on end.
Oh yeah, some of the dungeon masters will do like basically like a novel of their entire campaigns.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really impressive, honestly.
Have you played?
Yeah,
Okay. What about you, Jamie?
I have not.
You've never
No,
played.
you're invited,
no.
Jamie. You're
Okay.
invited.
I'm surprised, Jamie, because I know that you're all things Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And so obviously I know there's Walking Dead video games. There's got to be a Walking Dead RPG.
Is there a tabletop Walking Dead?
There has to be.
There's actually all kinds of different. I have one. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a cardboard game with The Walking Dead. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my husband, he's like into WoW, World of Warcraft.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm a League of Legends girl myself. Don't make fun of me.
All right, I'm pulling up my volume. Let me know what my volume looks like now, Todd. I messed with my settings the other day because I'm trying to also kind of react to music, but I was having issues playing music and not coming through loud and clear. So, all right, see, have to work to hear your guess. Okay. Tomcat says volume's fine. Thank you, Tomcat. On Twitch, volume's fine. Maybe it's your potato of a computer, Todd. Sorry.
Yeah, Todd.
Yeah. So I get easily distracted, but I did send you an invite, Todd, if you want to give us a rundown. And we're going to be doing a tease on the air here right after Beartooth. How long have you been reacting to Walking Dead content? First season?
No, unfortunately, I did not start at first season. I wish I would have. I didn't start until later on. And actually, doing reaction videos is really hard. It's a lot of work because you have to film yourself. Then I'm not very techie, so I would literally film the show and then cut it down and then paste it into my reaction and then all the editing, and so it's a lot of work. But,
a lot of work, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know you get envious when you see some people and their setups. They make it seem very quick and easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you try to emulate that without having all the bells and whistles,
Yeah.
it's a time-consuming process.
Yeah.
All my hats off to
doubt.
content creators because that is a lot of work.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It is. A lot of screen time, too, which
Yeah.
is the soul-sucking part of it, right?
I've made a
Yeah.
couple promos and it takes me for a 1-minute video, at least an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah. I tried to explain that to my sales manager because there's a car dealership that wanted content creation, right? And so they asked for our stats and numbers, and we had great numbers. And so I gave a pitch of something that we would do as for 60-second reels, and the client was all about it, right? But it costs money to do that, and it's on-site shooting and editing and writing, conceptual, and everything else. And so when we came back with a rate, my sales manager's like, just for a 60-second video? And I'm like, bitch, I'm not live streaming for 60 seconds, this.
Yeah.
The concept of it, and she's like, no, I understand how it works. I worked in television. I was like, let me explain to you the difference, right? When you edit for television, you're editing to fit time. And anyone who's watching that channel is going to see that, right? When you edit for social media, you're editing for engagement, meaning that, if you put it out there, if it's not engaging, it doesn't hit, then nobody sees it.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And so,
The
try
kids
to
with the
explain.
TikTok, if they don't like it after 2 seconds, it's gone.
It's done, yeah.
Yeah.
And when you post stuff, we see stuff that's immediately dead in the water,
Yep.
as opposed to something that hits 5 to 10 times more than your followers.
We
Your
see
followers
that.
are barely ever seeing your stuff, All right, Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. We have a lot of information and fun to have in this broadcast, talking all things 15th anniversary Tucson Comic-Con. It's coming up right around the corner. We just kicked off August. At the end of August, starting on the 30th, Tucson Comic-Con will take over the TCC for 3 days, the 30th, 31st, and September 1st. And I have in studio Carrie, who is running PR for the Tucson Comic-Con. Good morning, Carrie.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
And I also have special guest Jamie Joe of the Jamie Joe Show, who is a content creator, and she's going to be hosting a Walking Dead panel at the Comic-Con. Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning.
Yeah, so all that and more we're going to get into in the podcast broadcast. So when we come back, we're going to give you a rundown of some things to look forward to and who was announced as special guest for this year's Comic-Con. And we'll keep that conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. You can join us, youtube.com/bevegan, or stick around because we'll be back with more right after new music from Ashes to New. Here's Barely Breathing on Rock 102.1 KFMA. All right, so that was our tease in about 3 minutes. Then we get back into the nuts and potatoes, and which is not a saying.
It is now.
Yes.
Oh, let's see. Let me introduce to you.
Nuts and potatoes.
Nuts and potatoes. Let me introduce you, Todd Marley, real quick. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning, Be Vegan.
All right. And this is Carrie and Jamie Joe. And so, did you hear Carrie say that they are still looking for dungeon masters at the Comic-Con?
I did.
I don't know if it's specifically for D&D, but I know we're looking for game masters for all the games.
Yeah, I did hear about it. I'll look into it.
Please tell anyone who you think might be good at that, because we always need those folks, and they get a free weekend pass for the whole event.
I've already paid for my ticket, so I don't. That's not an incentive
Give
for
your
me.
ticket away.
All right. Okay. So, because you put in too much work and effort. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out our audio issues as well. So let me.
Your output in StreamYard is very low. It's quiet right now for me too.
All right.
And I have things like peaked on my end.
Okay.
If I compare it to Monday, it is super duper quiet.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's what I get for trying to mess with stuff. Now I adjusted my automatically adjust mic volume, and hopefully that will do the kick. So you let me know in the comments. But you basically gave Carrie a no right off the bat. I'm like, hey, he's a dungeon master. He could do it. And then you came in just to say no.
Oh,
Is that what just happened?
I've tried as hard as possible to be polite. I tried last year, and the run up there were no signups. There was no place for players to come in and easily find the games that were existing, and so games just were getting
really
picked
helpful
up.
feedback. So I appreciate hearing that. I will make sure this year we have a place for everybody to sign up.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
See, all it needs is a little bit of feedback and collaboration, and these the problems turn into solutions.
Yeah, I don't run any part of the games, but I love watching and playing them. Although in the family activity zone, people can go pick up board games to borrow and play them with their families. So that will be a place that they could do that as well. But in the game area, which is actually going to be in the front of the convention center upstairs this time in a different spot, I believe, people will be able to do all kinds of live gaming. And then in the other room, in the ballroom, I believe that's where we're going to have all the arcades and the RPG gaming on, letting people watch gamers, and should be really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get more into that, and so yeah, we'll talk about it. Maybe we'll figure it out together. Okay, Todd?
I appreciate his help. Yeah.
I'll put you backstage as
Throw
well.
input.
Give me any notes on the audio that I can fix on the stream, and we'll troubleshoot that as we go. Okay.
Okay.
All right, appreciate you. All right, we're gonna get live on the air here in about 7 seconds. There's a lot of moving pieces, as you could tell.
I love it.
Yeah, but that was my fault because earlier this week, Rock 102.1 KFMA, welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. Earlier this week, I had everything was fine as far as my audio levels on the podcast broadcast stream. And then I had Johnny Congos on, and he had a setup where he was going to play some music through the stream as well. But the audio levels kind of messed up, and I readjusted stuff behind the scenes, and I can't put it back to where it was. And so, I'm getting some mixed feedback here on the stream, but it looks like we probably figured it out now. So welcome back to the show. We're talking all things Tucson Comic-Con here, and Carrie does the public relations for the 15th anniversary of Tucson Comic-Con, and we're just talking about gaming, whether it's RPG gaming, video gaming, and all the different setups they're going to have here at the TCC for this weekend's event. Not this weekend, of course, the last weekend
Labor
of
Day
August.
weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, if it's Labor Day, it's Tucson Comic-Con.
Okay, nice. Yes. And it's a great way too, because obviously people like to dress up, but you're inside the TCC and the air conditioning's cranking.
Yes,
and
it's a beautiful 72-degree weather inside.
yeah. Of course, you got some big announcements. What's some of the big attractions you guys are bringing to this year's Comic-Con? Get people extra excited about the 15th anniversary.
All right, I'm really excited about all of our guests. Our guest of honor this year is Roy Thomas, and Roy Thomas is an icon. He was a protege of Stan Lee. He was a Marvel and DC Comics since 1965, and he's doing an exclusive Southwest appearance here in the Southwest. He doesn't usually come down here, and we're super duper excited about it. He's got a ton of fans. He wrote for the Avengers, the X-Men, and most famously Conan the Barbarian. But
yeah.
he also co-created characters like Wolverine. So that most recent movie would not have come out without a Roy Thomas.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got
And
his fingerprints all over
that's a
all the
fact.
big names in the MCU.
Yeah, and he'll be signing autographs and taking pictures. You can bring any kind of art or comic book to have signed.
Is he going to be hosting a panel as well?
I believe so off the top of my head.
Okay, yeah. Because I mean, obviously, that's a big attraction to Comic-Cons in general. I mean, we've been replaying clips of the Hall H in San Diego with the Marvel panel and the reveal of Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, of course, is big buzz. So like that's a part of the appeal for Comic-Con. So who's going to be speaking in different halls that you have for this year?
We have a ton of amazing panelists. Jamie Joe is one of them. So
Yes.
Jamie Joe is going to be doing a panel about The Walking Dead, I believe.
Yeah,
You want to talk about that?
Yes. So I'm going to be having some trivia. I'm going to give out some prizes. I have some really cool prizes. I'm actually giving away some of the things from my own collection.
Oh,
That are
Which is a
still in the
lot,
packaging,
right?
Which is a lot. I have a huge collection. I have what I call my she shed.
Yeah.
It's like my own room of the house. And that's where I do laundry. It has my washer and dryer in there, but it's all The Walking Dead.
oh my gosh.
It's my space.
That sounds
It's where
awesome.
I go to. I'm like, oh, who saw?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to do trivia and give out the prizes. We'll do like a Q&A. They can ask me anything about being on Talking Dead. I was on Talking Dead.
Yes. And you were on Talking Dead. Initially, did it start like during the pandemic because they were doing
Yes.
Zoom Talking Deads? Yes. And
That's the one I was on. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was a Zoom. It was during the pandemic, and it was when they did the bonus, like I call them bonus episodes, because it was extra episodes.
yeah.
And I was lucky enough to get the Daryl episode when he found a girlfriend, and I was like, oh. And my daughter makes fun of me. She says that the only reason that I like that character was because that was the show, or that was the episode that I did.
Yeah.
She's like, if you would have done that episode of Talking Dead, you probably would have liked that character. I'm like,
That's
no,
not
whatever.
true.
That's not true. I love her.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now, and you did great on that, talking with Chris Hardwick, and yeah. So, did you impress the panelists there with your Walking Dead knowledge when you were doing the Talking Dead?
You know, it was actually pretty short. I just got to ask the question, and so I got to ask Lynn Collins a question, and then of course Melissa McBride, she was there and she was on the call and she said hi to me, so I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really short. They asked me, or I asked the question and they answered it, and then
And so I consider you a Walking Dead super fan, right? And then you have all this trivia. Do you think that nobody can out trivia you when it comes to Walking Dead?
yes and no.
That's
There are some like really tricky questions,
Yes.
that you could ask that like you have to be like really paying attention to all the details in the show, which I do, because I watch it over and over and over again.
How many
so-
times do you think you watch each individual episode?
Oh my gosh. Well, when it premieres, I
Yeah.
watch it at least 2 to 3 times that week until
Okay.
the next episode comes out.
Are you taking notes when you watch the episodes?
Sometimes I have in
Yeah.
the past. Yeah, I do have a notebook of, especially when I knew I was going to be on Talking Dead. I
yeah.
was writing down a bunch of things because they had me come up with my own question to ask. So I was like, writing all these different questions down, like what I would want to ask. And
Did you feel like you over prepared? Because sometimes that could happen too.
yeah,
Where
a
you
little-
know too much, where you have no questions.
yeah, little bit.
Did you
Little
read
bit.
the comic books also?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have a preference between show and comic books?
I love the comic, but I love the show so much.
I think they did a
more.
really good job. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They did a fantastic job. I like. The only thing I do not like, hands down, is, and this is spoiler alert, but when they killed Carl,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
so mad because in the comics, again, spoiler alert,
Mhm.
he
Survives.
makes it. He
Yeah.
survives. So
Did you get to meet Chandler Riggs when he was
I
here last year?
did.
Okay.
Yes, he was wonderful.
Coral.
Yeah.
I just have every time I walked by him, I heard somebody yell "Coral."
Yeah. Girl, I know just the way I love it's iconic the way that he says his name. Rick
Yeah.
says his name.
Yep.
Now, is there any Walking Dead cast members showing up to Comic-Con this year?
Not this year, but
Okay.
we do have some really cool celebrities. So we have
Yes.
Doug Jones.
Yes.
Oh yeah, in fact, actually, that's good tease because we want to get through all the lists, all the celebrity guests that are going to be there that you can meet and take pictures with and interact with as well. So that's going to be coming up here next. But we're going to keep the conversation moving here on the podcast broadcast. You can join us youtube.com/bevegan or stick around because we'll let you know all the celebrities we're hanging out with after Ozzy Osbourne. right, there we go. See, little transitions there.
Thanks.
And yeah, and then that's a good segment itself because of like a celebrity list, and I have some pictures, or at least graphics.
Yep.
Yeah, that we could share as well. And so is John Ressberger? He's not going to show up anymore, or what happened?
Oh,
with
he's
him?
coming.
Okay.
Yeah, he's coming.
Should I not mention that?
No, you can. Yeah.
I thought I saw an email,
Yeah,
and
yeah, he's
and I'm
coming.
thinking out loud. Okay, good.
As far as I know, let me check my email. Did something change?
No.
Okay.
The email would be from you, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't have multiple Comic-Con information sources, so
Yeah.
I try to keep it simple.
Nope, he's definitely coming. And he's probably I'm most excited to meet him and Doug Jones. So
Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny too because he's gonna have multiple generations of fans. Obviously,
Yeah.
you know, he'll have older fans excited about his cheer stuff, and
Yeah.
then most of them talking like the Toy Story.
yeah.
Yeah,
When I was talking to my mom, I was like, "Hey, we're getting John Ratzenberger," and she was like, "From Cheers?"
exactly.
Yes.
I-
And yeah, I don't think she knows that he's in almost every single Pixar film.
Yeah,
every single Pixar
Yeah,
film.
yeah.
Yeah. What was the reason why they love him so much? Was that ever revealed?
I
thought
don't know.
read
He's
some-
just talented as heck. I think he can basically do anything. But they also, I don't know if you've noticed this, but in some of the Pixar films, they kind of make the character to look like him. So like if you look at Fritz from Inside Out, it looks kind of like him. And some of the other characters, yeah. I would not say Ham looks like him at all, but I would definitely say that most of the characters that he does are very, very similar to his face.
Okay. Yeah. I was sorry, I got distracted by Todd giving me the thumbs up in the back.
Oh, cool.
So that's a thumbs up there, Todd?
Hey.
Yeah, way better.
Alright.
Whatever button you just said was it.
Yeah. Well, I just crank everything up. I can only go to 11, but here we are.
Yeah, well, that last one helped.
Thanks. All right. I appreciate that. Yeah. I saw him react like literally jerk and be like, wait a second.
I mean, I can start yelling, you know.
No, you're good. It's not your levels. It's again, you know, we're troubleshooting live, and that's part of the live stream charm. All right, yeah, and then our guest of honor we talked about, and then Doug Jones we haven't talked about yet.
I'm so
Nope.
excited for him. So excited.
Tell
Yeah.
me why.
Oh my gosh. For me, it's Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
100%. I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday.
You know they're doing a screening of Hocus Pocus this weekend, I think, at the Fox Theater.
Oh, that's
What?
exciting.
At the Fox Theater.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So you might want to check that
Oh
out.
my
That was
gosh,
one of
yes.
the events that Mari talked about happening this weekend. And I also thought that was so odd, too, because first off, no, I'm sorry. God, that wasn't Hocus Pocus. It was Death Becomes Me, or wait.
Oh, Death Becomes Her?
Yeah, Death Becomes Her with
With,
Bruce Willis.
yeah,
and yeah.
I'm not sad about that either. That's
Yeah, I
great.
know. Well, that
Right.
movie's amazing too,
It is,
right?
it
And
is.
yeah,
Meryl Streep, love
Yeah.
her.
Right?
yeah, and so it was so weird to find out that not only are they airing that at the Fox, but also like how revered that movie was. Like, yeah, actually, I remember when it came out and loving that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As weird as
Yeah.
it was, and it was Pete Goldie Hawn,
Yeah.
and Meryl Streep didn't even realize what big of a deal Meryl Streep was when I was
Absolutely.
young when I watched that movie. But obviously, she's the goat. And then
is.
Bruce Willis was literally like this bottom billed actor in that like mega cast. So yeah, that's gonna be happening at Fox. As far as Hocus Pocus, I'm sure that will happen closer to
I mean, you
Christmas.
said it,
Right.
so maybe they'll put it out.
It should. I mean,
They should.
the fact that they're doing just special event screenings at Fox Theater,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that alone was like surprising to me.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, because usually I know it for comedy shows, concerts, things like
Yeah,
that. But
yeah.
yeah, but I think it's a nonprofit too, so it kind of makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah. We got some wrestling action too, so we're going to be talking about that. I am excited about Jimmy Hart. Do we? What kind of wrestlers do we have
So
on there?
this year, Jimmy Hart is representing the WWE.
WWE?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so as a representative of the WWE, huh?
Yeah. I mean, so he is the manager of several wrestlers. And
Oh yeah, he's an icon.
Yeah.
Mouth of the South.
Yep.
He has represented some of the biggest professional wrestlers for generations, and honestly. The importance of a wrestling manager, especially in the 80s and 90s,
Mhm.
is a lot of these, oversized behemoths weren't good talkers. So
Right.
100% of that wrestler's character would be the manager.
Yeah.
And as you know, like watching and being a fan of like Walking Dead, or even I was just watching the interview, the Hot Ones interview with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds.
Oh my God, I laughed so hard.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But there were some like pretty poignant points
Yeah.
from Ryan Reynolds,
Mhm.
which the reason why Deadpool is so good and separates it from all these kind of action blow 'em up films is the importance of character.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a character driven story. That's what Deadpool is, and that was great. And then hopefully it sets an example for the other Marvel films as they continue to come out. It's like
Yeah.
don't rely on the CGI, rely on the character work.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is brilliant. In
Yeah.
fact, I've always I always appreciated, always a fan of Ryan Reynolds, but like listening to him talk while he was dying, with his mouth on fire, it was just like, oh no, you're an artist to another level, and you understand the craft, more so, and it makes sense. 'Cause I thought Ryan Reynolds was a nepo hire way back when.
Oh, really?
I thought he was related to what's his name with the mustache. Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
Burt Reynolds.
Yeah,
Burt Reynolds. Yeah, I thought he was Burt Reynolds' son.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Initially, at first, when he first started coming out, Van Wilder and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, Burt
Yeah.
Reynolds got a good-looking son. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case. He was just a dude from Vancouver
Yep.
who's super sharp, and
Have you seen If?
yes.
I
Ugh.
cried through the whole
So
movie.
good, and
I was very upset about
I
it.
love that he just kind of took a back seat. Like he was not like it's always about him.
Yeah.
You know, in any movie that he's in, and I love that he gave Kaylee Fleming that, like, he let her shine.
Put
and he
her on
did-
a pedestal.
Yeah, and he did a fantastic job too. I just he's great, and that movie was really good.
I bet being a dad probably helped him in that
Yeah.
aspect. But
You
also,
definitely couldn't have done it without being a parent, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh. that movie was
probably
so
sold
good.
him on it too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. If you see it and start crying, he immediately starts thinking of his daughter or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, so. But yeah, so I mean, he's brilliant, and obviously even as he ages out of being like the Hollywood stud or leading man, I think he'll have an evergreen career because
Yeah.
he'll be a creator.
He's doing it so
Mhm.
gracefully. So
Yeah.
I do have an interesting story about him. It's not that interesting, but he used to mow my friend's lawn in Vancouver.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
like hardworking kid.
Yeah.
And
So
then grew up to do this.
it's
That's
funny too
awesome.
because in that Hot Ones interview they talked about him working at like a grocery store,
Yep.
and so there were little takeaways that I thought I knew a lot about Ryan Reynolds. Honestly, I've seen his interviews, and I've always been a fan, but I was like, oh, I did not know that, and
Yeah.
that makes sense too. So yeah, working class guy, had a passion for the arts,
Yep.
and it shows. So it wasn't just being good looking and having a quick wit,
Mhm.
because he's funny.
Yeah.
He was very funny.
And also, like, without spoilers, his kids are in the most recent movie. Like, he made it a family affair.
Mm-hmm.
And
cool.
yeah, I'm excited for all the cosplays.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could be any kind of Deadpool now.
Oh, okay, we can do spoilers. All right.
Yeah, at this point, and you're watching, if you
Yeah.
haven't seen it, it's your fault. But
I haven't yet. I have plans to go, but I haven't seen it yet.
Have you-
What?
I
Have you seen
know,
anything
I
on
know.
social media about it?
No, I've
Okay.
not really, but I'm okay with spoilers. It's okay.
everybody died.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, really?
It's
Oh my
crazy.
gosh,
Yes,
wow.
yes. Deadpool is done. It's so
Wow.
heartbreaking. Cried for hours.
Oh.
There's, obviously we're in kind of the multiverse era
yeah.
of Marvel, and they played on that a little bit. So
They
there's a lot of
elevated that, yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of Deadpools at one point.
Oh,
So all various types. And basically, the Deadpools that you're going to see are Deadpools that you've seen in animation
Yep.
or in merch.
Yep.
They basically brought those to life.
Yeah.
I did see that there's a lady Deadpool.
Yes.
there is.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting all that cosplay.
Yes.
And we do an epic scavenger hunt every year where it's like, okay, take a picture of 5 Spider-Mans in one space.
Mm.
So I think for sure we're definitely going to put Deadpools on that
Yeah.
list because I expect to see lots of them.
Yes,
Yeah.
And there's lots of really good prizes for the epic scavenger hunt, by the way.
that's awesome.
Oh, yeah? What? Like what?
Tickets for the next year.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So that's.
What do tickets run for a weekend pass?
Oh, you're going to make me do this off the top of my head. It just changed because
Okay.
we go super early bird, and then traditional pricing.
Right.
And I want to say it's 70.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's still pretty affordable
Yeah.
considering, like San Diego or
Mhm.
Fan Fusion up in Phoenix.
Right.
That's where
Yes.
it gets nuts.
Mhm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to freak you out. I went full
That's
screen
okay.
there.
I should totally check out how much, like, what's the actual pricing. I'll tell you in a second.
Okay. Let's see. While you're doing that, I'm pulling this up too because here's a fun game to play. When you are at Comic-Con this year and you see a Deadpool, call him Spider-Man. They hate that. They really do. And then I will show you. So it's not my first Tucson Comic-Con, and just recently I reposted a reel of me doing Silent Bob when Kevin Smith was in the studio because people say I look like Silent Bob. So I went to Comic-Con. It's super simple for me to cosplay as Kevin Smith.
Easy peasy.
All I have to do is put on a trench coat.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate too because I can't even go out on Halloween and not dress up without them being like, "Oh yeah, Kevin Smith, like so bad." No, I'm just trying to date. So, anyways,
Okay, I have a number for you now.
okay.
All right, so I was wrong. It's actually 55 for the whole weekend.
Oh damn, that's
awesome.
even cheaper.
Yep, and it changes at the door. So people should definitely get tickets online if they can.
Okay, yeah, and we'll remind people that too because that's a great deal, and at the door, that's where you're gonna get. The extra fees that you don't need to spend. You could save that money for all the different merch and swag that you're gonna get.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we have one surprise bit of merch that I probably can't talk about yet, but it's limited edition. There's only 100 of them.
Okay.
Yep.
No, I love it too. It's so weird too because Comic-Cons in a lot of ways and how they were built. It's a merch market.
Yeah.
And there's entertaining aspects, so many levels of entertainment, but a lot of people go there literally just like a kid in a candy store ready to go on a shopping spree. And that's a lot of joy for most. And I kind of grew up in like swap meets and working those, and so I kind of feel a different type of nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Fandom aside, just the actual all the different
Just
like
shopping
stores
out
that are
there.
set up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really get a kick out of, and especially when they're so focused on a certain brand or thing that you could tell they're really passionate about and selling.
Yeah.
Well, and being part of Tucson Comic-Con, I get to watch the setup.
Yeah.
And so I'm always looking like, I want to buy that, and I want to buy that.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
I want to buy that too.
My teenage daughter, she is she's like, I'm gonna spend all my money. I'm gonna spend all my money.
Yeah, just save it up, just
Yeah,
spend it.
yeah.
Well, and all the artists are there to sign their work. Like,
Yeah.
that's like the best part is that you can buy original art and have somebody sign it right there in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Get one of a kind pieces there, and all right, we're on in 10 seconds. Going to talk all the celebrities that are going to be showing up here for our signings and meet and greets and all the good stuff. All right, Ozzy Osbourne under the graveyard here in Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to the show on the podcast broadcast. We're joined from Carrie, does PR from the Tucson Comic-Con, and Jamie Joe, the Jamie Joe Show, at Jamie Joe on YouTube. If you're a Walking Dead fan, definitely want to follow her channel for a bunch of great content all about Walking Dead. Now let's talk about the celebrities that are going to be showing up here. Notable guests, I should say.
Yeah.
They're going to be part of the Tucson Comic-Con where you can meet and take pictures of and the whole nine because that's always a lot of fun when it comes to Comic-Cons. So who do we got this year, Carrie?
All right, so we already talked about Roy Thomas. Doug Jones, another guest of honor that we have. He is amazing. So he is known as a judge on Face Off because he's got all of these wild non-human makeup characters that he does. So Pan's Labyrinth, Pale Man.
Yeah.
He was in Hocus Pocus. He was Billy Butcherson. The Shape of Water. He's the amphibian
Jamie
man.
freaked
I know,
out
she's
on
so
Doug Jones. I know, seriously.
So excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's Saru for Star Trek Discovery. Yes, I know. He's got quite a long list, and he's coming up. He's doing a project. He'll be Nosferatu. Or he's playing a character. He's the main character.
Okay.
In the movie that's coming up.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then so Doug Jones will be there. People always ask like, how much are they charging for their signings? And that is completely up to the celebrities. We'll know right up to the convention, then we'll post it on our socials.
Yeah.
So John Ratzenberger is somebody I'm also super duper excited about.
I think so many people. He's a multi-generational kind of fandom that he grew. Obviously, people grew up in the 80s, know him as Cliff from Cheers.
Yep.
And then 90s and beyond, he is just the iconic voice in almost every Pixar film.
Yes.
He has some kind of role, whether it's Hammy and Toy Story
Yep.
and that franchise to like all the other characters, right?
Yeah. He was in Cars, he was in Inside Out, he's in Coco, like literally all of them. So if anybody has any merch or items from any of their favorite Pixar films, he'll sign them.
Yes. You know what? And I'll tell you this. I kind of figured it out as we were like, why does John keep getting hired for all these films? One, of course, maybe he's great great to work with. You
Mhm.
know, so of course that. But I think a $1 billion studio like Pixar,
Yeah.
they test like adamantly, right? They're testing every little piece of the product to see if it goes well. His voice must test out of like the
Yeah.
building, like it's so buttery. You're just like, that's something about that voice. It's
Yeah.
distinctive.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like character, but it's not
Very.
abrasive.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like this guy. So like,
Well, and he does a lot of different character voices.
yeah.
Like he'll switch it up.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, then who's another character that he's doing that I might
Like
not know?
The Yeti.
You can still tell it's
Yeti.
Sean Ratzberger, right?
Yeah,
The
okay,
Yeti.
all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't like.
He does a lot of voices, but it's still kind of Cliff.
Maybe he just does them so perfectly. You know.
I think it just tests well. They're like,
Yeah.
we're just gonna give you a different name, and you be you, John, and America's gonna love it.
Yeah. Well, and so many of those characters they do kind of make to look like him. So
yeah. His face tests well too. Then,
Yes.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, and the other one who I'm also very excited about, Dee Wallace. So yes, Dee
Yes.
Wallace from E.T. Also a whole bunch of other horror films, Cujo, The Howling, Critters. She's gonna be
Critters.
there signing, and it's gonna be wonderful. I can't wait.
Yeah,
Yes.
a horror master. Yeah, tons. Critters. It would be great if they had a bunch of Critters posters. I'm sure she'll have a bunch of Critters posters to possibly sign, right?
Usually all of our celebrities have in front of them like their portraits as well as like pictures from the movie, so people can purchase that on site.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
Like at their table.
Yep.
Yeah.
let's real quick. Let's talk about the importance of a Comic-Con economy for all of these actors or creators.
Yep.
You think 15, 20 years ago,
Mhm.
there's a lot of these people who put together work that have fandom that may have fallen on financial hard times because they weren't getting the traditional residual checks
Yep.
in over and over again. This created an ecosystem, a robust economy for those people who are appreciated. They not only get to see the appreciation face to
Yeah.
face, which, whenever you're a public figure, you never really, you could still feel like the most famous person in the world can feel like the loneliest person in the world at the same
Yes.
time. But, be able to literally do the circuit, make a good living, and continue to live a good life for the contributions that they did for pop culture and us fans.
Absolutely. Well, and so many of our artists that come to Tucson Comic-Con are from Tucson or Arizona, so they're local. So
Yeah.
that is like supporting local. Plus, Tucson Comic-Con is very much into giving back to the community. We're always trying to give the community what it asks for. We're doing also like outreach everywhere. And during the convention, we're going to have a silent auction that will benefit youth on their own and the community food bank of Tucson.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we have more details to give you, including where to get your tickets and everything else coming up here next. On the podcast broadcast, I'll share with you a video of one time I went to Tucson Comic-Con and dressed as Kevin Smith. I wore a trench coat and did some like Q&As with some of the cosplayers there and had a great time. And you can see that by joining us, youtube.com/beefvegan. Be back after music from Metallica and Disturbed on Rock 102.1 KFMA. All right, so yes, like I was saying, so we did this cosplay, if you will, if you want to call it cosplay. And the premise of the Q&A and the man on the street is very simple. As Silent Bob, you just go up and not say anything. And that's what I did. I did a silent interview. It might have been the world's first silent interview.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a throwback, and in case you missed it, it went like this. Check it out.
Oh, jeez. How's it going? Good, great. Yeah, no, this is amazing. I think that it always gets bigger and better every year. What?
Hi. What are we doing? I'm talking. Is this Silent Bob I'm talking to? This is gonna be quite the interview here.
Really? Tubby's gonna do this? Yeah, that's so not gonna work, dude.
Yeah. So you can't speak a whole lot. I don't know what to say.
This is pretty good here. Like, They have a bunch of good stuff and a lot of good art.
What do you want to know? State your business.
Yeah, it's always fun to come. It's nice. Some great art over here.
It's a great time out here. So a little warm. So I've spent 66 years frozen in the Atlantic. I'm not used to this, a little warm, but a lot of good, upbeat, happy people today. I'm liking it.
Is that what you were looking for? All right, sounds good. Nice talking. Next time, don't talk so much.
And like what my shirt that I'm wearing right now, how it has Deadpool on it, and there's so much stuff you could get, and it's pretty cool.
Yes, I would agree with that. Not so much, no. That's what I was thinking too. You know, get quite the variety.
Shield? It's courtesy of my friends over at Stark Industries.
Welcome to Comic-Con 2016.
You're listening to Rock 1021. You're listening to Rock 1021.
There you go. Yes, that was 2016. Wow. And the art of the silent interview, which is very difficult to do. It was very difficult to go up to people, not say anything, and continue to not say anything, to do all that. So it was nerve-wracking for me. You know, you couldn't tell because I didn't have to say anything. But we might even bring that back because it's almost been 10 years.
I mean, please, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, I still have the trench coat.
Did you show that to Kevin Smith?
I think I did actually, because we did see, obviously we talk to Kevin every couple of years now. I have his cell phone number if you want to bug him.
I mean, does he want to come to Tucson Comic-Con?
I'm sure it's an expensive rate because I know he's doing the Chicago Comic-Con and they'll do it. You know, the Jay and Silent Bob package.
Yep.
That's a big package.
That is a big package.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, it's interesting talking with him this last time, too, because, he's kind of going through this period in his life where, it's not that the opportunities are becoming less and less. Like he was going through a long period of his career after Clerks where if he would have an idea, he would find someone to be able to greenlight it.
Yep.
That's not happening anymore. And, he's still, still Kevin Smith, still doing a lot of big things. But he's also kind of having this kind of a lot of self-reflection and figuring out what he wants to do next. It's very interesting.
I got to see him when he was here at the Rialto.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, well, I heard he went on for like 6 hours. He just
was very
would
long.
not stop.
It was very long. Also, 2 seats away from me, a man had a seizure in the middle of, and it really kind of threw it off. But he was very good about it. He was like, is there somebody having a medical emergency? What do we do? Yeah.
Well, he had that medical emergency with his heart attack, with his Widowmaker being blocked. That was at a show.
Oh, my gosh.
It was right before he was going to go on. He was just super tired, and he said he just had to lay down, and he didn't think anything of it. So he went to go, lay down in a dark room, and his staff around him was like, this ain't right.
Yeah.
So luckily, they called the ambulance, and he said that he feels that the reason why he survived is because he was so nonchalant about it and he was so calm about it. And, I think the paramedics told him that too on the way to the hospital. The fact that he was just like, well, what's going on? I don't understand. And he didn't freak out.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy about this? And we made a joke about it when I talked to him, but the news breaks. Kevin Smith almost dies. He's in the hospital. Literally the news breaks in the morning, 6-7 hours after it came out that he had this heart attack, almost died. I text him and I was like, hey, heard the news, get well soon, and just sending a friendly text. not expect anything back. I'm just like, I got the cell phone number. I just want to let you know. I'm glad you survived. Hope you get better soon. He texts back immediately. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, recover, you know?
I wonder how many texts he got.
He a billion.
I bet.
And that's what he brought up. He's like, yeah, you were the only one to text me. And I'm so gullible. I'm like, really? Yeah. But yeah, he was basically within, hours, just texting everyone on his phone. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, if he ever wants to come to Tucson Comic-Con and like wear a mask and view it, he's welcome. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. And, basically serve cease and desist the people who are selling any kind of bootleg merch of Clerks and Silent Bob stuff, if there's any.
I don't think so.
We're close to Mexico.
There might be.
You never know.
That's true. That's true.
That's
most of our merch vendors make their own stuff. So it's a lot of like artists that do Etsy on the side.
Yeah, and you're right, MB. He was not in any pain. It was a very weird thing, and obviously for anyone who had like a widowmaker blockage, to have a heart attack, usually the stereotypicals like your arm shooting.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm just tired. What's going on? They're like, but no, you were about to die, man. So
glad he lived. I like that guy.
Me too.
I know, yeah, and he's super nice. But yeah, the show started at like 7 at Rialto, right? And it ended at like midnight. That's the thing. It's like, Kevin, dude, that's great. We love you, and we love hearing stories. But put a cap on it.
I'm an old person. I had to get to bed, so.
Yeah. No, there's no way you go all the way to the end of that. 5 hours of it turns into a lecture after a certain point.
Yeah.
A stand-up comedy special is an hour long.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was very surprised that it went on for 3 hours, and I was like, wow, it's probably almost over, and then I was wrong.
But leave it to a director to give you the director's cut.
It was the director's cut, for sure. But it was wonderful. It was like wonderful to hear.
I heard the end was fantastic.
Dang it, I missed the end.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm sure people are just relieved, like, okay, that's great. Yeah. Like I had my buddy message me and tell me this, like how long it was, and I had to work an event, so I wasn't there. But and he's a super fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, even for him,
Wow.
like he could have wrapped it up anytime around 10:30.
Yeah,
and it would have been good.
The Q&A section took a really long time because people got very into their personal lives, and then he was like having a whole conversation with them.
Wow.
Right, it turns into like Love Line and everything.
It was like therapy, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little much, but we'll see. Yeah, all right. Oh, we got about 2 minutes before we get on here. Let's pull up Jamie's page. You want me to show some content for you?
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Jamie? Yeah. So, I'm on here.
My content is all over the place.
Yeah. So I'm like, let me pull some. What do you think I should pull up here? You're doing giveaways. Oh, I like this. How you were immediately like, or not immediately, but you posted this like, I submitted my idea for the Walking Dead panel, and then fast forward, they approved it. Yeah.
Right.
So that's how it goes right there. Let's see. I'm gonna scroll through. You tell me where to stop. Here's your Walking Dead haul. Let's see what your Walking Dead haul is.
It's an exciting day. I got my delivery in the mail. It's the stuff that I ordered from the Walking Dead's shop.
And this your she shed?
Yeah, that's my she shed.
Yeah, look at it. It's loaded.
Gift card that I got that they sent me. So I just
The Walking Dead sent me PR. So I'm like,
fantastic.
They got you on a list.
yes.
Nice.
Yeah, they messaged me and I was like, oh my gosh.
Are you watching all the spin-offs too?
Classic. I had to go.
Everyone.
With this.
Everyone.
Every single one. Every
Oh my gosh. There we go. The Atlanta shirt.
Hey.
Nice. Is your husband into Walking Dead too, or is this your thing where
No,
he's just
it's-
like,
he watches with me.
yes,
But
that's very sweet.
It's
But he's like, babe, I
Yeah.
can't watch
all
5,000
yes,
hours of Walking
exactly,
Dead like you.
exactly.
Yeah.
They my husband and my teenager make fun of me about how much I watch it, and then my 5-year-old, she'll tell anybody that's my favorite show. She knows, like, oh, it's Walking Dead, and then she watches YouTube on my husband's phone, and I'll pop up,
Yeah.
and she'll be like, Mama, you're on TV. You're
That's
on
a
the
big
phone."
deal. Yeah, for especially
cute.
5. Yeah,
Yeah.
the algorithm and stuff.
Yeah.
How old does she have to be till you start showing her to her? Or does she see it yet?
She's already kind of seen it.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
She'll, I mean, and then there'll be other movies we'll be watching, like horror movies or something, and I'm like, oh, she can't see that. And then my husband and my daughter, my teenager, they'll both be like, she watches Walking Dead. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of worse things out
Yeah,
there.
Until
and
she
of course-
starts biting people, then you know,
Right.
then you gotta worry about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rock 102.1 KFMA. Yeah. As far as Walking Dead's concerned for it's content for children, they're going to grow up to be fans of this genre. I mean, obviously, the zombie genre is massive. The horror genre is massive. And a lot of that fandom starts at an early age, you know, anyways. So it's not like it's vulgar or
Right.
too sexually
Yeah.
explicit or any of that nonsense.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of dead people biting
Yeah.
living people to turn them
Yeah.
into dead people. Duh.
My teenager, it was funny because when she was younger, when I was watching it, because it came out in 2010, so she was little. She knew I was a fan. She was like hated it. She's like, oh no, Walking Dead. And then all of a sudden, one day, she I think it picked her up from school. It was like maybe the last day of school or something, and she goes, I think I'm ready to go down the deep, dark, dank hole of The Walking Dead. And I'm like, yes! Oh my gosh. So we went home and immediately started watching it. And she was, I can't remember, I think she was like 14.
Yeah.
Maybe 13. But yeah, so now she's watched all the episodes. She watches the spinoffs.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's that's a bonding moment, you know? I mean, I wish especially once my daughter turned into a teenager, it was very difficult to find something we could both vibe with, right? Yeah.
totally.
So to be able to do that, and I guess her friends kind of let her know it was cool to like The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah. And then when we met Chandler Riggs, that was that was a mother-daughter moment. That was when we couldn't find him, and then we finally saw him across the room, and we both saw him at the same time, and we were like, oh my gosh, there he is. And we freaked out.
Do you think he saw you guys freaking out?
I don't think so, because we were pretty far away.
Okay.
And we, but we definitely did kind of stalk him. We'd walk by and we were like, no, we're not ready. We're not ready. my daughter, she's like, let's go walk around. So we walked the whole place. And then we finally went, she's like, okay, I'm still not ready. I'm like, we're doing it. Cause I didn't want him to go on break or something, you know,
Right.
he might not be there if we go up. So
Yeah, seize the moment.
seize the moment.
Yeah, was he like a dreamboat to your daughter?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
And
good-looking
he's so
kid.
nice too.
He is so nice.
Yeah.
He's her number one for sure. And for her birthday one year, I bought her a huge canvas print of Carl. Yeah, and it's in her bedroom. And she
Did you
loves
guys
it.
go to Tucson Comic-Con in cosplay?
We did not. I wore my Talking Dead shirt.
Okay, cool.
And my daughter wore one of my Walking Dead shirts, the one with the sheriff's hat.
Right. Let's do a prediction here. Coming into this year's Comic-Con, which is Tucson's Comic-Con is the 50th anniversary edition. Obviously, we just had Deadpool and Wolverine be released.
Oh, yeah.
So do you believe that's going to be the top cosplay outfit? Is going to be of that movie, or what other things are you expecting to see as far as cosplayers coming out this year?
I was thinking a lot of Dune cosplayers potentially.
Okay, yeah. The sequel to Dune came out.
Yeah, that came out this year. Beetlejuice is not coming out till a month after Comic-Con, but I also expect that to be a big deal. Last year we had a lot of Barbie.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Barbie.
Yeah, well, and we had the Barbie box, which we'll have again this year. And I imagine it's going to be a lot of Deadpool and Wolverine, maybe duo cosplays. But really, it could be whatever. We have people who do soft cosplays where they're just like, I'm wearing a cowboy hat, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing with the Comic-Cons. It's like whatever you want to dress up as.
Exactly.
This is your event. So
Yes.
there
Well,
isn't
and
a
we have
right or wrong answer.
Yeah, and we have a costume contest. So that's
Yeah.
where to see all the really cool stuff that people spend all year working on. And that's going to be back in the Leo Rich this year. So we're really excited that we're having that whole big space.
Do you already have those participants filled, or can
No.
people still?
People can still sign up right now.
Okay, so if you're like a professional cosplayer, or you could put together what you think is going to be like an amazing costume.
Or if you're just a regular person who loves costuming.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And want to try to win, the prizes for this are pretty big, right?
Yeah, they're pretty great. I don't have any of them off the top of my head, but they're always really, really good. And last year we had a trophy that had our Gil on it, like Gil the Gila monster, which is really cool. Yeah.
Someone was saying they got to bring that shirt back, by the way.
We will have merch with Gil on it for sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
Absolutely. It's Gil's birthday. Gil's turning 15.
15, yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else you got going on? I see you guys notes here. So anything else you want to touch on?
Real quick, I'll be dressing up.
Ooh, what are you
in
dressing
costume.
up as?
Not the day of my panel, but when we go to meet Doug Jones, we will be dressing up as a family as Hocus Pocus.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
That's
nice.
going to be fantastic.
Which character are you going to be then?
Mary.
Yeah, okay. And Mary is which one's Mary? Is that Bette Midler?
No, that's
Sarah Jessica
Winifred.
Parker.
Sarah Jessica Parker is my daughter. That's oh my gosh, what is her name? I'm like
Nancy Najimy.
no, I'm thinking her character name. Sarah Jessica
Oh
Parker's
yeah,
character
yeah.
name in Hocus
But
Pocus.
Nancy Najimy, that was Mary.
Yeah, that was Mary.
Yeah,
So
nice.
that's who I'm gonna be.
Cool.
Nice.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
My 5-year-old is going to be Bette Midler's character.
Are you gonna have her participate in the kids costume contest?
Oh, there's a kids costume
There sure
contest
is.
too.
That's gonna be in the family activity zones.
And is that going to be all 3 days?
There's one day for kids costume contest, and that's on Saturday. Same with our big costume contest is Saturday evening.
Okay. Okay, good. Now, yeah, all day. And then you can get those tickets in advance. They're going to be cheaper than at the door.
That's right.
And as of right now, tickets are $55.
Yep.
Yep. And TucsonComic-Con.com is how they get the tickets.
Yep. Tucson Comic-Con or TucsonComic-Con.com.
Excellent. Yeah. And then what else are we touching on before we wrap things up?
I mean, I would just like to talk about Little Heroes. Which
Yeah.
is one of my absolute favorite pieces of Tucson Comic-Con, which it happens. It's not open to the public. It's Saturday morning. It is where we're going to have the kids from the Diamonds Children's Center come there, and they get to meet all of the cosplayers that are professional cosplayers, and it's just open for 1 hour for them before the convention opens. Yeah, and they get a whole bag of prizes, and it is one of my most favorite heartwarming pieces of Comic-Con, and I love that this is a community space.
Yes.
And that we really are about Tucson.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what makes this so beautiful. So you bring out your friends, family. It benefits the community, not only the economy, but just being a community together. I know people look forward to the Comic-Con each and every year to get together. It's so wildly entertaining, great shopping. And I mean, it doesn't depend. It doesn't matter what you're a fan of. Whatever you're a fan of, it's somehow going to be covered under the umbrella. That
Every
is,
fandom,
yep. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So yeah, the website again, TucsonComic-Con.com.
TucsonComic-Con.com. And like you just said, it is pop culture for all.
Yes, absolutely. So whether you're dressing up or even just wearing a hat and saying you're Kevin Smith like myself, you will fit in this year's Comic-Con, and it's going to be an exciting one. And I know that we'll probably touch base with you before the weekend, because I know we just kicked off the month. But again, it's at the end of the month, so make your plans accordingly. Labor Day weekend, it's happening at the Tucson Convention Center. And then Jamie Joe, let people know where they can follow you.
At the Jamie Joe Show is my handle for all of my socials: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Threads. Yeah. So you can follow
Well,
me there.
no one's really using
I know.
Threads.
You know
Let's
what?
be
I know.
honest.
Honestly, I started Threads and it was so cool. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then I'm like, I kind of check it and like scroll, and I'm like, this is okay. And
Nah,
I exit
yeah.
out of there.
Yeah, Facebook does this all time and time again. They're like, hey guys, no, we're gonna beat Twitter with this. Like, no, you're not.
No.
Nobody uses that. But yeah, if you want to be, on Threads by yourself and follow Jamie Joe, you could do so.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Tucson Comic-Con has a Threads that no one uses, and it's at Tucson Comic-Con.
Oh, I
which is-
totally. I
yeah.
like everything that
Okay,
Tucson
well, yeah.
Comic-Con posts on Threads. I'm like, oh, like,
Well, they
okay.
don't necessarily post on Threads. They post on Instagram, and it
And
just
then it-
goes to
and it
Threads.
automatically
Yeah,
does it.
so
Mhm.
Yeah.
follow them on Instagram. That's
Thanks.
where everyone's at.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening to the show. Don't forget, you can check out the replay on demand on YouTube at BeFegan. We'll be back Monday morning, but enjoy your weekend. Drive safe, ride safe, and as always, rock local. Later.
When you
There you go.
on the side of beef,
Thank you guys for watching. As always, have a good weekend.
all your grief.
See you soon.
But if you've been mean or kind of bad, I will knock out all your teeth.
You gonna cut?